Brighton scored 6 in the Carabao Cup against Barnsley, with 4 goals from Gómez and a hat-trick of assists from Tommy Watson. But what's more interesting is how they did it. Today, I'll be showing you how Brighton exploit the most dangerous area in football, Zone 14. First of all, what is Zone 14? Well, Zone 14 is the area just outside the opposition penalty area. And it's important because it's a key chance creation hub, and a lot of high XG passes are played from in and around this area. For example, Barcelona always do this, Pep Guardiola teams always do this, and just teams that like to keep the ball and have a fair amount of possession use this area as well, just like Brighton. So, Fabian Hürzeler set his team up in a 4-2-4 formation, and on paper it should look something a bit like this: a solid back four, a pivot in the midfield, and then 4 very high attackers, very wide wingers. But during the game, it looks absolutely nothing like this. We're going to take it in positions, in areas of the pitch, and show you how each player played a big role in making Zone 14 so dangerous and utilising it so well. So let's start with the back four. It was Veltman, Boscagli, Coppola and Ferdi Kadioglu. And the important players here are Veltman and Kadioglu. In the back four, you expect them to stay relatively narrow and be relatively solid. But that wasn't the case. If we take the rectangle tool here, Kadioglu and Veltman's normal positions in the game were here and here. On the halfway line, just a little bit over. Veltman basically playing as a left mid, left winger. Kadioglu basically playing as a right mid, right winger. That then allowed Boscagli and Coppola to come high and stay high and win that ball back high and keep those attacks ticking over. Now into the midfield, we have Carlos Baleba and James Milner, who you can see now it's very congested in there with 4 players. Thankfully, they didn't stay like this. Baleba would come and basically play as a 6, as a single pivot on his own, and marshal this area of the pitch. Any balls that broke forward, he would sweep them up if they got through, and Boscagli and Coppola were also there to link up and keep attacks ticking over, as I said. Now, James Milner is very important in this formation. Yasin Ayari come on and did it very well in the second half as well, but Milner's area of the pitch is all through here. So Milner, yes, he looks like a 6 from the start, but he's an 8, basically a 10. He comes and he has anything in here. He gets the ball, he can link up play, play passes forward, or if there's nothing on, he can play it back. And then we get into the exciting part where Milner is also still very important, the forwards. You'd expect players like Tommy Watson and Gómez, the wingers, to come here, play very wide, here, play very wide. Simas and Welbeck in the 2. It didn't stay like that, and their positions were crucial for getting the wingers into the game and getting Gómez 4 goals and Watson 3 assists. Simas, the proper striker, the number 9, would come very high and be basically on the edge of the box and pin the defenders. Danny Welbeck would come and play as the 10, which opened up these pockets of space here and here. Here and here. Okay? Those pockets of space were then filled by Diego Gómez and Tommy Watson. And to be honest, they come even narrower to create 3 attacking midfielders, basically. So if I delete my drawings, I will show you that positions on the pitch. Look at Zone 14. This right here. Look how many players are now in Zone 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. And even Milner comes higher as well into that to make 5 players in Zone 14, which gives Brighton so many options. First of all, we'll start with Milner. He's the creator, the conductor when it's like this. Ferdi Kadioglu and Veltman have so much space down the flanks. so much space. They have the whole flank themselves, basically. They can come high. 15, 18, 13 and 16. Simas can get in the box. Welbeck can get in the box because he's very good in the air. Watson can come to the back post to pick up anything. Gómez can sit around the edge of the box, make late runs or pick up any balls. Milner as well will do the exact same thing. Another option, if the fullbacks are not going to be used by Milner, Gómez comes back in here, Watson in here, Welbeck and Simas. Milner has the option of playing Watson in behind. Watson can make a run out here, in here, even a straight run in behind is very good. Gómez, the same thing here, here, or here, which then allows Simas for the ball to be played back across. Bang, bang, get his shots off. The same with Welbeck, following up. It can be pulled back to the edge of the box, whichever winger doesn't go. So if Watson's gone here, Gómez can then come to the back post in there. And it just creates so many overloads that the opposition just can't deal with. And it worked perfectly for Brighton. I'm going to show you some screenshots from the 6 goals they scored that highlight why Zone 14 was so important. First of all, let's look at Brighton's first goal. Diego Gómez's first goal. And I'm, of course, going to highlight him in here because he's the main reason Brighton scored this. Look at the zone he is in. Look where he is on the pitch. Zone 14. And he's occupying 2 players here. Simas and Welbeck are high, chasing that ball. So these back 4 have to be there. Otherwise, they're letting Welbeck get a free one. Simas getting a free run. The ball gets played in behind to Tommy Watson. And look what Gómez does. He makes this run in behind. These 2 players are now out of the game. These 4 have no idea he is there. Number 14 is checking his shoulder, Danny Welbeck. He can only see this area of the pitch. These 4 can only see these areas of the pitch. And these 2 are well and truly behind. Gómez makes that dart into the box. Watson picks him up very, very well. He then makes it to the 6-yard box, scores his first goal. Just from being in that zone 14 and holding off a few seconds, created him so much space. Now, his next goal. This is where Tommy Watson is very, very important. Tommy Watson is the winger. Look where he is, though. He's where you'd expect Simas to be. Simas holds the ball up very, very well, knocks it into Watson. He makes a dart inside. Danny Welbeck then makes a run in behind through here. As you can see, he's looking to go in here. Gómez, the other winger, is very, very narrow still. You'd expect him to look to go out here. But actually, he's going in here to make that run past the 14. And if you go to the next screenshot, look at the area Tommy Watson is putting this ball into. Here. Zone 14. Even if he's not aiming for anyone, just putting the ball in that area is so dangerous. And we'll look at that again in a minute. Diego Gómez, once again, is key in this goal. It's his goal. He's here. He makes a dart into the middle, into zone 14. Bang. The ball comes to him. No one's marking him. Bang. Top corner. Goal. Another brilliant goal for Diego Gómez. Scored through the use of zone 14 from Tommy Watson and Gómez. The 2 wingers once again. Now, his third goal is still applied to zone 14. Coppola just makes a clearance. You wouldn't think much about it. The ball is up here. But look where it lands. Look where Simas is making that run. The ball is directed towards zone 14 to cause a bit of chaos. Simas is high, which means the defender has to be tight. Can't let him spin in behind. Gómez, the winger, I'll highlight him once again. He's there. You'd expect the winger to be down here somewhere. That is not the case. Gómez likes to tuck inside because he is more of a midfielder. The ball comes to him and it's just a spectacular strike. That probably isn't even in zone 14. It's just a ridiculous finish. But just that run in behind from Simas and Gómez coming narrow created that goal. Now on to his 4th goal in the second half. The player to highlight here is Stefanos Simas. Whoa. Delete my drawings there. Simas in here, very important. He is staying high. He is in that zone 14. And Brighton have sort of emptied that area at the moment. Milner is borderline in there, but he's not doing much damage in here. But just from Brighton emptying that area, look how much space has been left behind in here. And this is key. The ball is played into Baleba by Coppola up here. Baleba turns. There's still space in here for Stefanos Simas. The players have vacated that. They don't think there's danger in there because there's nobody in there. Well, look where Baleba passes the ball into Simas. Look at the gap that's opened up in behind. Baleba can now make this run in behind. And it's got to be a good pass. But Simas can just flick it in behind. And look at all this space for Carlos Baleba in behind. Ridiculous. Simas has to make that pass. He does make that pass. Carlos Baleba is in. Brighton don't score. But look at Tommy Watson again. Coming narrow. You'd expect him to be slightly wider. But he's coming narrow. Baleba probably should have passed his ball off. Here, Simas does make this run. Baleba maybe could have just popped a nice one back into here. He doesn't. He tries to score. But it's still one of the best moves in zone 14 I saw from this game. The next goal is Harry Howe's goal. We start with the build-up from the back. Yasin Ayari is on the pitch now. He is here. He's with the ball. He's looking towards his own goal. Not much danger, you'd think. Well, wrong. 1, 2 players, 3 players in and around zone 14. Just causing that back line a bit of problem. They're just having to think, what are they going to do here? Next screenshot. Welbeck, the ball is played to Welbeck. Gómez, the winger, has come narrow. He's in here now. The ball is fantastic from Welbeck, I have to say. But look how much space is created just from being in that zone and having no one extremely high in this scenario. Now, Gómez, of course, he's in behind. He's created so much space for himself. And it's a beautiful finish for his 4th goal of the game. Now, another really, really fun goal. Harry Howe's first senior goal. Look where Tommy Watson picks the ball up. He's high on the left. Not much danger. There's nobody really here. All you expect him to do really is make this run down the line. Maybe put a cross into the box for Welbeck and hope that he gets onto the end of it. Well, that's not what happens. Look where Tommy Watson has made his run. He's made that run inside. He's starting to make that run inside. Zone 14 at this point is empty. Nobody's in there. But Welbeck, you can see, is making that run towards it. But the key player here now is Harry Howe. He delays his run. Then he comes inside, makes this beautiful run into this zone here, zone 14 once again. Tommy Watson, this is just before he makes the pass, lays it into the middle, just into that zone. Harry Howe is unmarked. These players here are just keeping an eye on Danny Welbeck. They think he's the danger. He's not. It falls to Harry Howe. So much time, so much space, and it's a beautiful finish into the side netting, into the top corner for his first senior goal. But that all came from Tommy Watson driving with the ball narrow and just putting it into that area where there's bodies, you can get shots off, the keeper's eyesight is blocked from the defenders. And now the final goal, Yasin Ayari. Again, look how many players Brighton have in this zone. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the left back here. Boscagli is the left back. Milner in here. Not much danger, you'd think. You'd expect Coppola to try an amazing pass in behind here for Welbeck. Welbeck to make that run in here. He very much could have done that. Or he could have switched it to the back post to Babis. He doesn't do that. He plays a little pass off inside to Yasin Yari, who makes a run. This space is now vacated. Brighton have so many players overloading that zone 14. In the previous situation, they can get players into the box. Yasin Yari bursts through because there's so much space once again, and it's a beautiful finish into the top corner. Just look at those goals. All those 6 goals have come from Brighton emptying zone 14 and making the opposition think, or overloading it and making the opposition have to come high and mark them. It was a great game for Brighton. Yes, it was against lower league opposition, but it really highlights what Fabian Hürzeler is trying to do with this squad. But that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment your thoughts on Fabian Hürzeler, this use of zone 14. I'll be keeping an eye on Brighton, of course, for the rest of the season using this zone, and we might come back at the end of the season and get a few more screenshots and tactics ideas for you with Brighton and this zone. But as I said, like, subscribe, and you know the outro by now. Do it with me. Adios.